Hello YouTube, it's Deesus here, ready to play some Tainted Grail Conquest on Steam. I've got my nice toasty blanket on, just ready for winter time. My hair's looking a mess, but I don't really care. Obviously rocking my Alienware chair still, very comfortable, and I'm ready for a nice night of gaming with you wonderful people out there. So today's agenda is we're actually not going to play the main game, even though I have really enjoyed this game. If you haven't checked out Tainted Grail, it's fantastic. It's a great deck building game. It is based on a actual board game. Fantastic. We're going to go ahead and we're actually going to go for the record. So we have Endless Power and there's also Endless Misery. So we are going to try Endless Power. So out of all the classes, by and far, Zealot is the worst. He is the absolute most useless class in the game, hands down. That's not disputable. If you look at the leaderboards, it is very obvious there is a clear deficit in the Zealot, in his ability. He just does not scale well, and that's not to say he's totally useless. He's just not great. So my record has been 29. The world record currently, I believe, is 62, somewhere around there. So we're going to try our luck on that. As much as I would love to play the Weird Hunter or play the Berserker, which are absolutely top tier all the way around, these guys scale out of control. The high score on them is like 1200 and something. I just do not have the fortitude to play this that long, although I possibly will. I will absolutely go for it. If we end up getting the Zealot, we will absolutely go for one of the others. You know, if you guys actually sub and comment and make me feel like I'm not wasting my time, because we're talking like hours of commitment there to even make it through it, and that's if we make it through it. Alright, so here we go. We have the Zealot, and we are going to break the game. We are going to do all sorts of things, so I'm not cheating. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about, you know, this gets absolutely wacky if you have not played the Endless Power mode. You basically just keep going and going and going. It is, I mean, by nature, endless. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and try to give some tips for people that have not played the game or maybe actually, you know, getting around to play the game. So just real fast, you have this burn level. It's good to keep it about halfway, even a little bit lower than that's okay. If this gets too low, you start getting really negative cards, and we don't want that. If it's high, then you have, you know, bonuses, and it's all good. Here are some items you can use. You'll kind of get more as we go through. Now this particular character, it'll tell you, like, this enemy's shape and the pulsates of its body suggests that you should be prepared for an explosive surprise. So as this thing eventually blows up after a couple of turns, this lovely, disturbing creature there, my god, it's just, dear lord, like what sweet Jesus. I mean, just, oh man, that is just foul looking. Anyway, you know, we're going to go and we're going to kill this guy. So kind of the Zealot, how he works is you have these things called maneuvers. Lots of the archer style classes, if you will, have these maneuver-like abilities. So I'm actually going to go ahead and move my screen. Let's see, where would be a less annoying place for it to be? We're going to move it down here because this actually will keep track of what hit I'm on and other things, which I would normally not take it this serious, but in order to beat this record, we are going to have to get this down to a science. So without further ado, let's throw a maneuver in there. As you can see, that increases my damage every time I do a maneuver. There's a maneuver. Alright, so we are going to pop, shoot, in the turn. He has 35 health. We are going to go ahead and activate this. That's 25% damage for 3 turns. Now if you notice, that card flipped over, and I'm sure you noticed it on the other. So what's happening with maneuvers is as you're flipping these cards over, it's actually making a whole nother skill that you can use. So see, I can actually look ahead. So, you know, for one cost, it's gained 120% damage for the next hit. Discard all arrows. Increases by 30% for each arrow in hand. I flip it over. Now it costs 2. I gain 200% for the next hit. Discard all arrows. Increased by 50% for each arrow in hand. So, you know, sometimes both effects are good. Sometimes you have a super powerful effect on one side, and then you have a very negative effect on the other. And so this all comes into strategy, but I'm not worried about it because we are absolutely going to just completely annihilate this guy. He was just level 1. We are already, what is that? 1/60th of the way there, so we are good there. Let's see. Multi-shot all enemies, that's pretty good. Draw a card. Its energy cost is reduced by 1 this turn. That could be okay. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. Every time you deal more than 300 damage with a single hit, heal yourself for 30. That is actually really good to have. Health, I think, is irrelevant in Endless because eventually everything's just going to one-shot you anyway, unless you are a protector and you can block everything. This is actually really good though for damage, and as much as I enjoy this ability, we are not going to have those 300 hits anytime soon. So as with all things, we're going to go Glass Cannon. I really feel like that is the way, because Zealot, I mean, he just does not have the capabilities of a whole lot of defense, and so it's very much so you're going to have to kill them before they kill you. It's very important to read, you know, these guys' effects. So here we have the Wrapped Lightseeker, or Warped Lightseeker. This enemy's power changes depending on your Weird Candle's burn level. So you can see all of these characters are quite unique. And then here's this one. This enemy can heal its allies. So, I mean, you kind of know how it goes with an RPG game. You are going to want to take out the person that's healing. So we are going to go and do that right now. So we are going to take a little bit of damage. Actually, we did. Nice. So this is one of those weird cards. I'm saying weird as in the candle, not as in this is weird. So right now my burn level is still decent, so this card's okay. Gain 50% damage this turn, it only costs 1, and if not played this turn, you gain 10 armor. If my level was really low, the cost of this card is probably going to be around 2, and there's going to be a consequence if I do not play it. So we know for sure we want more damage, we want to boost ourselves, and now we're going to kill this guy. That's going to pop our effect. Now we have 100% more damage our next hit. Pop. He is dead. That is number 2. That's actually not a bad card. Up to 100% is very nice. This is going very good into our Glass Cannon build. And I absolutely love roguelites. As I've said in other channels, if you guys have a game you'd recommend, I would love to play it. I definitely love these type of deck rogue games. I consider myself pretty good at card games. Now, I know you guys are probably going to feel a little differently after some of the Hearthstone games. I swear, I have played at the Legend level before. I routinely made Diamond. I've just been out of the loop for about a season or 2. I was supposed to play Battlegrounds and Duels, so I just need to get back into it. And I will. I'll get back on the horse. I'm not defeated yet. So we are going to do this. Okay, so we have a couple guys here. So this enemy can add useless cards to your deck and temporarily reduce your energy. So these guys we kind of want to get rid of, but all in all, they're not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and stun this guy. Shoot him. Take a little bit of damage, not a big deal. To 20, but you can see it actually changes depending on who I'm fighting. So these guys have 0 armor, so it does the 15 to 21. You can see the numbers in red there. So you see it's 50 armor, so that's 15 to 21. There's a chance this can kill this guy, so let's try. Alright, did not work, but it's okay. So sure kill him. Alright, now it's just 64 to 90. 64 to 90, there's a chance it could crit. We could be in business. So close. Okay, we are going to go ahead and kill that guy. This. That was actually a really tough pick. I love stuns, so we are going to go with stuns. Sometimes stuns get you in trouble because sometimes stuns help the enemy, as weird as that is. Okay, we have got to figure out. I'm sorry I'm like moving my face all around, guys. I just have to figure out the best place to put me. I don't even know where I belong. I'm lost. I'm scared. Alright, I absolutely hate these guys. Not only are they absolutely grotesque, but sick with contagious red death. Don't touch his skin too often or your hand will be infested with obsolete cards. And of course we have this guy. This enemy will deliver more hits each turn unless it's stunned. We are definitely going to be doing some stuns. So if you remember, every hit grants us 5% more damage till the end of combat, up to 100%. After using a maneuver or a quiver, we're going to gain 50%. We have this one, every 10th hit in combat is going to stun, which produces its armor, which is nice. So this. Okay, so they have less armor, which makes sense because they are sick. 67 and 90, dead. Medium's okay. I will run it a little bit low. We're gonna stun this guy. So that's actually a pretty powerful skill. So whenever we kill an enemy, we're going to gain damage equal to our total damage modifier. So you can see down here what my modifier is, which my base damage is 14 to 18. Okay, so this enemy redirects damage from all of its allies to itself. And this enemy will deliver more hits each time, when it goes on stun. So see what we can do here. We are going to go ahead and stun him. To 139. A massive hit. Well, not massive, but decent. We're actually going to get to see some pretty ridiculous numbers. Okay. So the chain effect multiplies this card effect by the number of cards of the same type played in a row during this turn. So all those arrows we were playing is actually going to change that. It's actually not too bad there. Increase our base damage and our first treasure guardian. This guy's really easy. These are a bunch of rats, not a big deal. I do enjoy looking at them. Like, look how absolutely foul they are. I also just really enjoy how my Alienware looks in my current monitor. Really happy with those purchases. Okay, we are looking kind of low. We're going to go ahead and boost that up. As you can see, that went almost all the way around, and we have to be really careful with candles because we have a limited amount. Okay, so we are going to start chain plus 1, plus 2. Okay, and then I'm going to take some damage here. This person's dead. finally get some runes to equip. This is going to help with our damage. I always go with the increased card draw here. Alright, every additional card drawn grants 3 barrier. Armor slot, 300% of offered HP is turned into barrier. None of those are honestly that great. Every turn increases everyone's damage by 10%. This is actually the better option there. Don't want that. Alright, so this enemy will negate every hit under a certain threshold of damage. You can also deliver a certain amount of hits to temporarily rid this buff. So it negates every hit that is under 15. So this should actually hit. So that's going to hurt pretty bad. I wish there was a way to actually see what ending my turn would look like, how much damage I would receive. Because even though that's looking like 10 to 15, and that's looking like 4 to 6, it could actually be a lot more, and I've died to stuff like that, so we will see. Also, once you use something that is of a different type, it resets your chain. So that is one thing I don't think is totally clear on the card. So you have to be careful when you're using maneuvers mixed in there. That's not too bad. I mean, an arrow's an arrow. Free maneuver grants you 3 barrier. That's probably going to be decent. So this very first boss here often is the hardest one for me, because it seems like I've never geared super well. So you have a few different ones. So this enemy casts powerful buffs to inspire his allies and deal heavy attacks whenever his companion dies. You have this one, is this enemy casts barrier and redirects damage for the whole group. And this one is this enemy casts barrier and redirects damage for the whole group. So these guys are very annoying. This enemy is the main damage dealer in the group. So this is the main damage dealer in the group. So we're just showing 8, and 8 should be 16, and we have plenty of health. You guys are with this. Okay. 515 right now. your negative armor, I believe, already factors in their damage. We're actually on the 10th hit. So in theory, so you 2 to 94, we're going to do something here. I go ahead and discard a card. Gain bear equal to 150% of your current armor. We will never use. Because we're not going to have armor. We're going to go with health potion. So we have 8 wins, and we need 62 roughly. I said my best was 29, so it is a process. This enemy will spawn totems to buff its allies and various effects. Really, all these guys are about equal threat. Has potential to be decent. Stage is a first hit. That's always important. This enemy can add useless cards to your deck. The Bounty Hunter. What is this person holding? I know it's a staff, but there's just a rock on the back. I will say I appreciate the art. cruising right along. Some life still, it's not bad. I like a life still. I think these are the snakes. Nope, not the snakes. So these guys are actually pretty cool. You have to kill these guys and then they actually attack their owner. So let's got what runes we get. Find these. Alright, so we're going on to number 12. This should be the golem. Oh, no, this is be after this should be the golem. All enemies are good. Now it's the golem. And I actually hate the golem. It's a love-hate. I feel like with the stuns we should be okay. This guy also, though,